up, we have new cards, bunch of new cards, which I have not read yet. So I've heard of some of these, of course, because people have been talking about it, but I haven't really looked into any of these. We're going to go one by one. We're going to see which ones of these are exciting, which ones are not exciting. We will find out together. Hibana Yori, thank you so much for the 5 gifties. I appreciate that. Thank you. Very kind of you. Enjoy your gifties, everybody. Also, Sinister Slot, thank you for the 16 months. Welcome back. All right, so Solfachord is the first set of cards we're going to look at. Now, my problem here is that I rely on chat a little bit on context here because I am not incredibly familiar with Solfachord cards. I have seen some of them at some points, but not super. I mean, of course, they're not very relevant at the moment, so I am not the most familiar with Solfacords. So even if these cards maybe are custom for the archetype, I might not see it because I'm not super familiar with it. So let us let's just read the cards, see if they are good cards on their own, and then you guys can give me some context maybe on how good this is in Solfachords. So we have Solfachord Solfagia, level 2 light fairy pendulum effect monster, pendulum scale 9. Pendulum effect, you can only use the pendulum effect of this card name once per turn. When a monster effect activated by your opponent on the field resolves, if you control a Grand Solfachord monster, I'd note that those are like the big ones, right? They have like Solfachords, and then they have Grand Solfachords, which are the high level. Maybe it's extra deck, even, I don't know. The links, okay. The links are the Grand Solfachords, okay. You can negate that effect, then destroy this card. Okay, that seems like a powerful effect. I like that this is a monster effect on the field. In general, I just want to give a shout out to monster effect negation, but only on the field. I like that a lot because it means you're not just ignoring hand traps. I think that is one of my biggest gripes with certain monster negates, is that you'll just like make them and then you ignore Nibiru, you ignore whatever else your opponent is doing. Like I'm talking like Phantom of Yubel, Appaloosa, and so on and so forth. Like all those cards, you know, it just annoys me when a deck just gets to combo harder because they have insulation from Nibiru that way. So Ryziel Cross, yeah, that kind of stuff just has a lot of potential to snowball into crazy combos because you just get a free nib security, you know. This is a powerful effect nonetheless. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's bad or weak. It's a very strong because it's in resolve. And we know how powerful that is with Ryziel Cross as an example as well as a comparison. But I think on the field it's just a better balancing, dude. I acknowledge the fact that they are not going to print. They're not going to stop printing any form of negation, right? Like there's always going to be something that negates something or stops something in Yu-Gi-Oh! That is a core part of the game, but at least make it somewhat limited and balanced, right? Like the cards I hate the most are the ones that just negate everything, like Monster Spell Trap, and then doesn't even matter if it's on the field or not, and maybe there's not even a cost attached to it, like can't even interact with it at all. Or whatever. Like this is like, okay, it's limited to monsters, and even within the monster negate category, it is limited to monsters activated on the field, which is probably fine, especially since it's Solfachord. Anyways, I've been rambling too much. It's not really, that was not really about the card. It was just more about negates in general, but okay, moving on. Actually, let's look at new cards. You can only use the first and second monster effect of this card's name each once per turn. If you control no monsters or all monsters you control as Solfachord, you can special summon this card from your hand. Okay, potentially good. I don't know how desperately they need an extender. When you activate this effect, you can also tribute this card. During your main phase, you can special summon a Solfachord from your hand, except another one of itself. Or if you tributed this card at activation, you can special summon that monster from your grave or extra deck instead. That seems neat to me, right? This is like, if you don't tribute it, you can just summon one from your hand, which is decent, right? Like this basically makes it a double extender, right? Like you can special summon itself and then you can use its effect to special summon another one from your hand, which seems pretty good, especially in pendulum decks, because that means you can do early Beyond the Pendulum or early, I mean, I guess in Master Duel and OCG, you can make early, what's it called? You can make early Electromite. But in general, also having the option to tribute itself to summon from grave or extra deck seems pretty good as well. Can dodge. This cannot dodge because it is not a quick effect. The way I'm reading it, there's no quick effect here anyway, so you cannot like tribute itself to dodge anything, right? Well, yeah, no, this seems like a solid start, I would say. What I'm wondering here, and this is where context is needed, right? Because what I'm thinking, the best application for this card would be the following, right? You want to summon it from your hand, use it as an extender / starter. Then you want to link with it or whatever Solfachord is doing with the cards. Then it goes into your extra deck, and now you need to tell me, is there a way to put it from the extra deck into the scale or back into your hand? Because that would be the ideal use case, is like you summon it as the extender, it goes in your extra deck, and then it goes into your scale later so that you can negate an opponent's monster effect. Okay, you guys are saying yes. So that seems like that's something that Solfachord can do, which, you know, guess what? The card makes sense. Solfachord Primoria, level 1 Earth Fairy Pendulum effect monster. When you pendulum summon a monster, you can target a Solfachord card in your pendulum zone, return it to the hand. When you pendulum summon a monster, target a Solfachord card in your pendulum zone, return it to you. Yeah, okay. Monster effect, you can only activate the first and third monster effect once per turn. If this card's normal or special, you can add a Solfachord card from your deck to your hand. Okay, I mean, that's phenomenal. It is a level 1, so it cannot be, or it can be pendulum summoned actually, because it's a scale 0. Your activated Solfachord card effects cannot be negated while you have Solfachord cards with even and odd pendulum scales in your pendulum zone. If you link summon a Solfachord monster, you can add a Solfachord card from your graveyard or face-up extra deck to your hand. Oh yeah, that's what it does. Okay. So you link summon, and then you get the you get this one back to your hand, and you can scale it to get the monster negation. Okay. Scale 0 is very good in Solfachord. See, this is something that, you know, it makes sense because apparently you care about having, I believe that's something that Solfachord has on more cards, the whole even and odd thing, right? With even and odd scales, because that means if you want to have like if you want to have an even low scale, you have to go for 0 or for 2. And if you go for 2, then you can like not summon any of the level 1s or level 2s. But yeah. That seems like a good card as well. Oh. Solfachord Happiness. Activate one of these effects, but you can only use each effect once per turn. Discard a card, and if you do, add 2 Solfachord Pendulum monsters with different pendulum scales from your deck to your hand. Then you can special summon Solfachord Pendulum monsters from your hand up to the number of monsters your opponent controls +1. I like this extra effect depending on whether you're going first or second. I like this a lot. The fact that you can summon more cards if your opponent has a board seems cool to me. In general, this is a relatively standard, so far, relatively standard discard 1, search 2. But on top of that, you get discard 1, search 2, plus special at least 1 from your hand, which is pretty good. It's a pretty big Ash choke point, of course, but it's still pretty good. During your main phase this turn, you can conduct 1 pendulum summon of a Solfachord monster in addition. Oh! It gives you a second pendulum summon for Solfachords if you want to. As well, okay. Or you can special summon 2 Solfachords from your pendulum zone. And you can use, basically, you can activate this card 3 times. And use each individual effect once if you have a way to recycle it, or if you have a way to search more copies of it. That seems pretty good. Also, someone in chat is pointing out right now the way it's worded here, which this would not be a cost the way this is worded, which makes it obviously a lot better into Ash Blossom. Good catch. Yeah, that's true. It is not a cost if this translation is correct, which seems like it is. That means it's not that weak into Ash, actually. That's you know what? Those are 3 really good cards, I think. Now here's where my lack of knowledge comes in with just Solfachord in general, right? I am just not super familiar with the deck. This feels like something that this feels like just a good engine, right? This does not make your end board incredibly more powerful. It just feels like something that makes the deck more consistent, and it makes it like flow better, right? The one thing that I'm always a little bit careful of with pendulum cards is that these cards basically have no locks to them whatsoever, which I think is one of the most dangerous things that you can have in pendulum in particular, because before you know it, this stuff might be just abused as regular pendulum slop stuff. I've played against it. Maybe it's just me being biased right now because I've played against exactly that deck like a couple of times during the Duelist Cup in Master Duel, and that deck is obnoxious to play against. I had a game against them where they on turn 1 they summoned their entire extra deck, like all 15 cards, and they had like 16 pendulum. I clicked at their extra deck, and it's like 14 pendulum monsters and 1 face down extra deck card or something after their turn 1 is what happened. And they've gone through Magispector, they've gone through Melodious, they've gone through obviously the whole Draco Slayer spreadsheet, whatever, all that stuff, Amorphage locking me out of spell cards and out of my extra deck, so on and so forth. Like, they've gone through everything. Like, you filter by pendulum, the odds are the card was in their deck and in their extra deck face up, everything. So I don't know, dude. I like pendulum decks when they make unique usage of the pendulum mechanic in their own ways. Like, for example, I like pure Melodious. And I also think like other concepts like Valmonica or Nemlaria or whatever, you know, some of them better than others, some of them more fun than others. But like when they use the pendulum mechanic in like a unique way to make something happen, I think that's cool. When it's like more, and I'm sure I'm not gonna have like a huge issue with pure Solfachords. This seems fine. But yeah, these cards seem fine. That's all I have for now. I don't know exactly enough about Solfachord.